Hey there, it's your host Dan once again. We're up to part 12 of the C4 front end repair collision I'm doing myself, DIY. And next up is going to be the hood. This hood here, I want to get it on the car. I want to test fit it, make sure it fits right first before I even think of trying to get this painted. But I'm not going to put it on like this. This thing is filthy. So I gotta clean it. I wish it was easy as just doing that. That's not working, so I'm gonna get out the bucket and scrub it down. So I had to go dump that bucket because, oh my gosh, it was filthy. Go back in here with some clean water and kind of just give it a wipe off, a wipe down rinse, so to speak. Big difference here from left to right. If you're wondering what I'm using just palm olive because I want to strip all the dirt, grease, and grime. I don't want to necessarily try to remove this paint. It's just one layer of like a flat black sprayed on the underside. Here, maybe they didn't shoot it all the way or somebody tried to clean it, but it's a very light coat, and if you really rub this aggressively, it'll take all the black off. But I'll eventually probably just shoot this whole underside of the hood with a coat of flat black and make it all look nice again. But I got to do the other side. It took me about 15 minutes to do this side, and take me about another 15 to do the other. I installed the hood latches back on, and I left these dirty for a reason. That way I could see exactly where this washer needs to go, where all three of them are positioned. And you can see it doesn't quite cover, the way the other bracket was on there. So I'm gonna leave it like this for now. So this should be pretty close to what it was originally on my car. And these are only just snug, so if it has to, this can shift around just a little bit. This will need a wipe down of like the wax and grease remover to shoot another coat of paint on this, because you don't want to use that as your first step, wiping all that in, the grease and grime. I at least wanted to get that off, but it looks a lot better. And now the next step is going to be to put her on the car. Okay, I got the hood put on with a few helping hands, and now I'm just going to close, test fit it, and get it adjusted. Kind of trying to massage it into place just to make sure that this thing is going to fit when all's said and done. And I'm glad I'm doing this because I surely wouldn't want to do this after it's painted. It would get messed up. Here on the passenger side, it's pretty good. I wish I could get this corner down a little bit. Now if I look down this side of the car, the way the hood sits compared to the door and everything else, I mean, it's right there. It's spot on, which is really surprising because this is the side that got hit. On the driver's side, it's a little different. At the very, very back of the hood, it's just a touch proud of the line of the door. That's because I adjusted the hood up a little bit in the back because I don't want the corner to hit or rub. It looks like it's pretty straight, but the end of the hood is just maybe up a little bit, like it's pointing up this way, the front of it. And the trim down here on this panel is also pointing down a little bit, so I could probably straighten that out a little bit, because I want all these lines to look like, they're nice and sharp going down the side of the car. Here I'm going to take some measurements up front. I know this isn't the ultra precise method way of doing it, but this should get it pretty close. And let's see here, up to this edge where it just drops down, I'm getting about 21.25 from that to the ground. And I do realize if my suspension's sagging or if my air pressures are different, all that, I could throw that off, but it should be close from side to side. So I'm going to go over and measure, and let's see what the driver's side is. On the driver's side, that very same measurement, kind of in the very same spot of the hood, is 21.5. That's a 1/4 inch more than on the other side, which I'm going to have to do something about that. It should be really close. And as I mentioned, that line going down the side of the car, as the hood comes this way, it's kind of pitching up. At least it looks like it to me. So if I can maybe adjust this, maybe remove a shim or two underneath the hood bracket here. I could probably get this down just a little bit, and it would also bring the hood to tilt the nose down a little bit, and it would make the belt molding line look sharp as it should be. Here on the passenger side, there's quite a bit of shims here down to the frame. And let's see, up here to the tie bar, it looks like a couple, maybe about 2 or 3 in there. Over here on the driver's side, it looks to be about an equal number of shims underneath the bracket that goes to the frame. But here on the, where it bolts to the tie bar, there's a stack of shims here. I mean, it's almost double the height. So I think I'm going to try and pull some of these out, pull maybe 1 or 2 out on the frame side, and I'm going to try and get this side down just a little bit, just to flatten things out. Here on the front, I'm not too worried if I pull a couple of those shims out, because where the bolt goes to hold the nose in, that was right up at the very, very top of this slot, so I can move that down just a touch to get the nose aligned. That's quite the stack of shims that was under right here from the factory. It's twice as high as the other side, and now that I've taken it out, it kind of dropped down just a little bit, and I could almost go with, yeah, the rest of them. That would work. So the idea is going to be, is I'm going to want to try to take away 2 shims here on that top one, which if I think I can get in here and get 1 shim off of the frame to hood bracket, that'll give me that extra shim here I need, and then we'll go down to 4, and then I should be a 1/4 inch lower on the front end here. By taking the bolts out of the hood hinge bracket, I was able to weasel out a couple of these little shims. I took out 2 here. This is a little bit wider than an 1/8 inch, and that was enough to drop it down to give me the 21 1/4 inch height. The same thing I'm getting exactly on the other side. So we're pretty much level. We're at least parallel with my floor. Hopefully my floor is level. By taking those shims out, I think that made the line look a lot straighter where the hood meets up to the door and to the lower panel. It doesn't look like it's rising up as it comes forward. It looks like it's pretty well straight. And I think the body molding is just pointed a little bit down. It's just tweaked at the very end. So the next time I take that panel off and do a battery, I'm just going to move that up just a couple millimeters, and it should make everything look nice and straight, or at least as straight as I can possibly get all these things lined up here on the side of the car, which is looking good. So that means I can move forward. Alright, so that was about a couple hours of me test fitting this hood, making sure everything lines up the way it should. One of the biggest important things is going to be when I pull that hood release, is this going to unlatch? Because on these hoods, if it doesn't, you've got a whole nother can of worms. So let me reach down and we'll try that. Oh yeah, there we go. Both sides pop loose, nice, easy, and free. And it wasn't like that at first. It took a lot of just kind of finagling and adjusting. But I'm glad I took this time to do this, because I don't want to be damaging a freshly painted hood. And this is all set. So now next I'm going to move on to getting that nose put on and getting that test fit, dry fit, and making sure that aligns all properly as it should. I reattached the skids to the nose, and I put the bars on the passenger side, but on the driver's side I was about to, and I took them back off because they're already there. And I'm just going to go with what's already there, because that's already lined up. Nothing's bent on that. That's my next step, is to get this up onto the car in place. I've got the shims ready to go from what I took off from original. I'm going to go with those, and we're going to see how that's going to work out to start. Now I got the bumper on, and probably about 50% of all the bolts tightened down. But one thing I spent some time on was making sure this gap that runs along the front, that's going to look nice. I don't want it hanging out or too close on one side, because when the car was originally damaged, it was pushed back this way, and this side was pulled out a little bit. I think it pulled out the mounting point on the tie bar. I kind of tapped that back with a rubber mallet. On this side, I had to add an extra washer and also one extra shim, like one of the thicker shims, but I think I got it as far as the line that runs across. I want to make sure that that looks nice and even and straight as it should be. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed and tighten down all the other bolts for the front end, just to make sure that, you know, when it comes time to take these back off and send them out for paint, that I know for sure that they will go back on and they will line up correctly. This side's sagging just a little bit in the corner, but I don't have the fender well in because I took that out to take care of the tie bar. So now the tie bar is all taken care of. Let's put that fender well back in, and that'll kind of bring this edge up just a little bit, and it'll make it align the way it should be. But I'm pretty happy with the way this is all fitting back together. Okay, here's the part where I get out of denial and face reality. Now, I've tried to align this hood the best I can the first time, and it was pretty much good with the door gaps, but it was off on the front as far as side to side, it seemed. I tried moving it over, and the door gaps just went all cattywampus, so I know that can't be right. So I had to move the hood back over to get the door gaps about to where they were. But the problem I'm having now is that on the side of the bumper here, we can see it's tucked in. The bell molding is just a little under the edge of the hood, and over here on this side it's sticking out a little bit. Now the front of the nose is going to bolt to your fender well, which goes to your frame rails. So I'm pretty sure what has happened is that the frame rails have gotten bumped over, both of them, just a little bit by about 1/4 of an inch that way. Because if you split the difference as far as the bell molding, I don't think that that should be hanging out quite as far. And the other side, the way it's tucked in, it should be even on both sides, and nothing I really can do can pretty much correct that. The fender wells are all hard and rigid. You know, I almost had thoughts of spacing out the fender well a little bit, but anybody in the know would look under the hood and just say that's just so hack. So I've been working with a body shop, and I'm going to have this sent over and have the frame hopefully slightly pulled just a little bit this way, and get everything straightened out. That way these sides, it's not going to look like this side tucks in and this other side bulges out just a little bit. I want everything to, of course, go back together the way it was. Now, I still have this old hood here in my garage, and I'm really not sure what to do with it. So I'm hoping anybody, if you watch this video all the way to the end, maybe you have an idea of what I can do with this hood. You know, if it was a front end, people make desks out of them, but I can't really think anything to do with this thing, so I would hate to just have to throw it away. So if anybody's got any idea, I'd appreciate it if you drop a comment. Let me know what you think that this could possibly be used for. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.